Good morning, everyone. Welcome to DigAlert's first 2025 Virtual Underground Safety Awareness event. At this time, if you can't hear me, this is your opportunity to adjust your volume, screens, whatever you need to do so that you can watch and see and hear this webinar. If you do have any questions, please use the chat and raise your hand and or the Q&A located in your menu bar. We will be taking questions periodically throughout the webinar. So, but share your questions again through chat, raise your hand, and or Q&A. And this is a pretty good day for our virtual underground safety awareness event. I just looked out my window and it's still raining pretty good, although the wind has died down this morning. So at least for the next hour and a half, you're in a dry area with watching our webinar with us or attending our webinar. Okay, why is this not working? I'm having technical difficulties, so please bear with me. Try this one more time. Okay, there we go. So everyone registered for this webinar is going to be receiving a $10 Starbucks e-gift card and a Safety First certificate. However, if you are in a group setting and you did not individually register, I do need to have someone within your group to send me first and last name and the email address in which you would like me to send the Starbucks e-gift card by the end of today, March 13th. And you do need to send that to amber@digalert.org. This will be put in the chat also so that you can refer back to it. So first, last name, and the email addresses that you want me to send the Starbucks e-gift card to if you are in a group setting to amber@digalert.org. Please make sure that if you do utilize your company's email address, that Starbucks is not blacklisted or whitelisted or whatever it's called, because the e-gift card is not coming from DigAlert, but it's actually coming from Starbucks directly. And if it is sent to an email address that is blacklisted, it's very difficult for me to get back in touch with Starbucks and have it resent. So make sure, otherwise have it sent to your personal email address. Also, every person on this webinar who texts to 344-258 the word safe with a space, the word win, and then another space, your first name, and then another space with your last name, will be eligible to win up to a $100 Home Depot e-gift card. Winners will be selected at the end of the webinar, so you have to stay for the entire webinar. Also, for the Starbucks e-gift card, you do have to stay for the entire duration of the webinar. So please stay in order so that you can receive your Starbucks e-gift card and then participate to receive the Home Depot e-gift card. Again, you want to text 344-258, the word safe, space, win, space, first name, space, and then your last name. And this slide will also be set up again or showed again later in the webinar. So if you don't get it done right now, don't stress. We will show it again. And the Starbucks e-gift card and the Home Depot e-gift cards are provided by our sponsors. So we would like to thank Crimson Pipeline or Crimson Midstream, Kinder Morgan, Long Beach Utilities, Marathon Pipeline, and SoCal Gas. So thank you, sponsors, because without these sponsors, you would not be receiving your Starbucks e-gift card and or be eligible for the Home Depot e-gift cards. So let's go ahead and get started. A little bit about DigAlert. Just back in 1976, a construction company or excavating company hit an 8-inch high-pressure pipeline on Venice Boulevard in Culver City. Thousands of gallons of low-lead gasoline was was flowed out and it ignited. In the end, over 16,000 gallons of the gasoline was released, 7 buildings were destroyed, and 9 people were killed. 3 months later, DigAlert began its operation with a mission to ensure safety of excavation workers and the general public by preventing damage to underground lines through advocacy, education, and operation of an efficient regional notification center. DigAlert is the regional notification center here in Southern California, and we have over 900 utility owner-operators within the 9 counties that we service, which include Imperial. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking this morning. Not enough caffeine, I guess. Inyo, LA, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Ventura. And FYI, it's not the first year. I think it's the last couple of years, but last year for sure, DigAlert processed over 1 million tickets alone in just 2024. And so today's webinar, we're going to review and discuss the California Excavation Law 4216 and some regulations. We will be going through a lot of definitions, owner-operators responsibility, or operators responsibility, excavators responsibility, possible consequences, and again, answer any of your questions. And again, your questions can be submitted through the chat, Q&A, or raise your hand. So the first definition is, what is an excavation? An excavation is basically any operation in which earth, rock, or other material in the ground is moved, removed, or otherwise displaced by means of tools, your shovel, equipment, or explosives in any of the following ways. Ready? I have to take a deep breath here, so here we go. Grading, trenching, digging, ditching, drilling, augering, tunneling, scraping, cable or pipe plowing, and driving, or any other way. So if you are breaking ground, you are digging. And that leads to our next definition. Excavator. Who is an excavator? Basically any person or entity that with their own employees or equipment performs any excavation. So everyone on this webinar is an excavator. What is an operator? An operator is any entity that owns, operates, or maintains a subsurface installation line. So an operator in this webinar is not the backhoe operator, it's the actual utility owner operator of those underground subsurface installation lines, which leads us to the next definition. Feel like you're in high school yet? There is no test. Subsurface installation means any underground pipeline, conduit, duct, wire, or any other structure except for non-pressurized sewer lines, non-pressurized storm drains, or any other type of non-pressurized drain lines. And so what this means for you excavators, you go to your job site and you have your DigAlert ticket in hand, and you, in your survey of your excavation site, you see that there's possibly non-pressurized utility lines in the area, and they are not being notified on your DigAlert ticket, then you should be contacting those owner operators directly. Every operator of a subsurface installation line as defined in 4216, except the Department of Transportation, shall become a member of DigAlert. So every operator of subsurface installation, they have to be a member except for non-pressurized and Caltrans. And just a highlight here, I have kind of color-coded the PowerPoint. Basically, everything in yellow is the law. That's in 4216. I mean, the definitions, of course, are in the law, and I'll give you the sections of where you can find the law, because I am just kind of summarizing the law. I'm not going to verbatim for you every single word. We would be here a lot longer than an hour and a half. But if you need reference, you can go to 4216.1, and that's going to show you where where it states every operator of the subsurface installation line shall be a member of DigAlert. So we're going to go through the 5 steps to a safer excavation. It is a process. We call it the 811 process. The 5 steps, hopefully you all know, it includes to delineate, contact, wait, confirm, and then of course follow safe excavation practices. First step, delineate. Before you contact DigAlert, you are required to delineate in white the location or path of your proposed excavation. If your area is not delineated, the utilities do not have to locate and field mark their facilities, or the operator. I have to get the operator in my head. Sorry, I'm used to saying utilities. The operator may choose not to locate and field mark until you have delineated your excavation site. And this is the only instant in the California Government Code 4216 where it states an operator does not have to mark their field mark or locate and field mark their underground substructures if it's not delineated. So excavators, make sure you delineate your excavation before notifying DigAlert. Which leads us to the second step, contact DigAlert, contact 811. The government code does say except in an emergency, and we will review an emergency later in this webinar, but any excavator planning to conduct an excavator shall contact DigAlert, and you have to contact us at least 2 full working days, not including the date of notification, but not more than 14 calendar days. If your excavation doesn't start until 15, 30 days later, you cannot submit a DigAlert ticket. You are in what we call the pre-planning or design phase. Please do not utilize DigAlert as a pre-planning tool, because that's not what we are here for. Excavators, you can go to our website at digalert.org, and for a nominal fee, you can get pre-planning information. You can go to digalert.org. Otherwise, if you are digging within 14 calendar days, you can submit a DigAlert ticket. I'm promoting our DigAlert Direct. This is our website platform that allows excavators to input their own information to submit a DigAlert ticket. And excavators, you can utilize DigAlert Direct 24/7 every single day of the year. You can access DigAlert Direct by our website at digalert.org or directly at direct.digalert.org. You can go to our free DigAlert app. You can even text us to 344-258, and DigAlert will send you the link to DigAlert Direct. However, if you do need to call us, our customer service representatives are always, well, not always, they are available to help you, but they are only available Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And this does exclude all holidays or state and federal holidays. So the third step is to wait. Now, there is some new language in the Government Code 4216, even though it's not really that new. It's just more of a clarification. What it says is your third step for an excavator is wait. And excavators, you cannot begin your excavation until the operators of the subsurface installation that are listed on your ticket, and this is the new language, fulfilled their obligations under subparagraph A of paragraph 1 of subdivision A of section 4216.3, and or until the completion of any on-site meeting if required by subdivision C. So that's kind of new language, but what it is clarifying as you wait excavator, this is when the operator's responsibility kind of kicks in. They have to respond, and they have to respond by your legal excavation start date and time in one of the following ways. They can locate and field mark within the delineated area of your excavation. They are required to mark multiple subsurface installations of the same type and the number of subsurface installations, but if known. Or so for the first, this is what they're required to do. Either locate and field mark or provide information to you, the excavator, or advise of no conflict or no subsurface installations in the area of delineated for excavation. Now, before, if you ever attended my webinar, it always was wait until your start date and time. Well, not anymore. Only if, though, if the excavator, I gotta move something, give me a sec. If the excavator may begin the excavation before the legal excavation start date and time, only if excavators, don't get too excited about this, only if all of the operators listed on your DigAlert ticket has either locate and field mark provided information or advise of no subsurface installation lines. Okay, so that is new in the government code. I know that a lot of excavators, I've been told that they're really excited about this because in the past, it didn't matter if everyone, every operator posted their EPR and or advised of no conflict or responded. I always said no, for legality reasons, wait until your start date and time. But now, as long as they have every operator on your ticket has responded with one of these three ways, then you're good to go. Now, operators, once they have responded with either a locate and field mark, provide information, or advise of no conflict, then those operators are required by 4216 to supply an electronic positive response, or EPR, through the DigAlert system before the legal excavation start date and time. Okay, and I always tell my operators, well, I guess we'll get into that in the next slide. So give me 1 second. Because the next step is to confirm utilities response. I should say that I need to change that. Confirm operators have responded. I always tell my excavators, don't even bother rolling the truck. Don't go to your job site until you have checked the EPR. How do you check the EPR? Make sure that those utilities have responded. Well, you can text to PRESP with your ticket number to 344258. You can download our free app, or you can visit our website and click on check electronic positive response, because unless it says area marked, no conflict, or advised of the wording, advised, provided information, you're probably not going to be able to begin your excavation anyway. So check the EPR before you roll that truck. Because if they have not responded, or say they respond with something that says resend, you're probably, like I said previously, you're not probably going to be able to start your excavation. And we'll get into the resend. But on a no response ticket, if an operator has not located field mark, provided information, or advised of no conflict, you, the excavator, have to send a no response ticket. When you send a no response ticket, make sure that your excavation site is delineated, because remember, the utilities don't have to locate and field mark unless your excavation site is delineated. Submit a no response ticket identifying those operators that have not responded. Wait a reasonable amount of time, but just allow enough time for those those operators to respond. And if the third time it doesn't, there's still no response, I say contact the operators directly. Now, something new that became effective January 1st of 2025. The Underground Safety Board is the enforcement agency specific to 4216. And they have been monitoring operators who have not posted their EPR or their electronic positive response by the legal start date and time. DigAlert actually has to send quarterly reports to the Underground Safety Board. But what also DigAlert is doing is, if an operator has not posted on their electronic positive response by the legal start date and time, we automatically will send a no response ticket to that operator or those operators. And we will continue to do this until they have responded. But that's if they have not provided EPR. If the operator does not locate in field mark, provide information, or advise of no conflict to you, the excavator, you still want to submit a no response ticket. The fifth step is to follow safe excavation practices. And what this does mean that if the excavation is within the tolerance zone being 24 inches of either side of the marked facility or the exterior of the pipe placed by the operator, you are required, it says, shall determine the exact location of the subsurface installation line in conflict using hand tools. So what this is saying in a roundabout way, if at all possible, you want to utilize hand tools to the depth of your excavation until, I recommend rather, to the depth of your excavation. And the reason being my recommendation is because abandoned lines are a huge issue, not just here in Southern California, national. What happens is my excavators believe that they're doing their due diligence, hand digging up to, and they believe that they've found the marked facility in conflict, then come in with the heavy equipment, and guess what? That wasn't the marked facility in conflict. So you definitely want to, if at all possible, use hand tools to determine the exact location of that subsurface installation in conflict. Now, the Underground Safety Board is still allowing that an excavator may use vacuum excavation within that tolerance zone. But first, you have to inform your intentions. And when you submit a DigAlert ticket, if you say, yes, we want to utilize vacuum, it's a question, are you going to use vac? It's a yes or no. If you click on yes in our DigAlert Direct, or tell our customer service representatives yes, then you have informed your intentions that you want to use vac. Now, this is another new thing that my excavators are really, really liking. Before 2025, if you wanted to use vac, you had to inform your intentions, and then you have to get in contact with that utility, that operator, and get a verbal agreement. Well, no longer. Operators are now required that if they don't want an excavator utilizing vacuum excavation in around their underground substructures, they have to provide that information on the electronic positive response. They have to say in the comments section on the EPR, no vac, cannot use vac. If it doesn't say that on the EPR excavators, you may utilize vacuum excavation to expose those underground substructures. Also, the Underground Safety Board is allowing equipment other than hand tools to determine the exact location of that subsurface installation line, but it has some caveats. The equipment is actually a handheld percussive pneumatic, electric, or hydraulic hammer that does weigh less than 40 pounds, basically your clay spade. It has to have a bit width no less than 4 inches with rounded edges, no jagged edges whatsoever. You can only utilize the clay spade within the tolerance zone if the soil is classified by Cal/OSHA as either type A or type B. I hate that I have to say this, but guess what? I have to say this. Please use it only as the manufacturer's instructions or per the manufacturer's instructions. Of course, you have to wait for the owner operator or the operator to respond, because you wouldn't know if you're within that tolerance zone. And if you are within that tolerance zone, just like a shovel, please put the bit edge parallel, not perpendicular to the orientation of that subsurface installation. This type of equipment cannot be used if the installation line is marked as communications or alarm or signal lines, cables or conduits, such as street lighting or traffic signals. So do not utilize the clay spade, anything marked in as communications, alarm or signal lines, street lights, or traffic signals. We're getting quite ahead of this. We're going pretty fast here. So if the exact location of that subsurface installation line cannot be determined by your hand excavating, excavators, you need to contact that operator to ask and to provide additional information. And excavators, you're liking this new addition to the government code that became effective January 1st of 2025. If you cannot locate that underground substructures using your hand tools, you have to contact that operator, and that operators, you have to provide relevant existing additional information to the excavator, and you have to do this within 1 working day. It's no longer at your convenience or the 2 full working days, not including the date of notification. It is specifically said within 1 working day. However, if the excavation is proposed within 10 feet of a high priority subsurface installation, your high priority being your high pressure natural gas pipeline with normal operating pressure of greater than 60 PSI, your petroleum pipelines, pressurized sewer, high voltage electric supply lines, conductors, or cables that have a potential to ground of greater than or equal to 60 kV, any type of hazardous material that is hazardous to you, the workers, or the public if damaged. The operator is required to notify you, the excavator, and to set up an on-site meeting before your legal start date and time. And yes, excavators, they can direct you on how to dig in or around those high priority subsurface installation lines. And I highly recommend that you follow those directions with little to no complaint, because if those are damaged, those are the ones that can hurt you, hurt your crew, may require first responders, may be on the local television news, something that you just do not want to deal with. Also, even though the government code says that the operator is responsible for notifying the excavator to set up that on-site meeting, excavators, if you see a high priority operator being notified on your DigAlert ticket and you have yet to be contacted, contact that high priority owner operator to schedule that on-site meeting. Now, some regulations, this isn't new, but it has to be said because this is a huge problem that DigAlert has been having. And again, the Underground Safety Board is aware of this. They've been having meetings and they have been receiving complaints in regards to both sides. So excavators, you are required to have a name, a telephone number, and an email of the person most knowledgeable of that excavation during the entire duration of the DigAlert ticket. So if your on-site contact person or the person most knowledgeable goes on vacation and it changes, or maybe they leave, whatever the reason, you have to make sure that you update your ticket with the correct current name, telephone number, and the email address for that DigAlert ticket. And you would do that through DigAlert Direct under an amendment. Operators, you too must maintain a name, telephone number, and an email address, and you are required to notify DigAlert of any changes as they happen. It's been unfortunate, but sometimes it has happened. Oh, that person hasn't been here for 10 years. Okay, that's breaking down the communication, and that's what DigAlert's all about: communication, communication, communication. You are required to provide and maintain current name, number, and email address. And again, the Underground Safety Board is aware that it's on both sides, and they are investigating, or they are, I don't know, doing what they do in order to get this resolved. So make sure you do not get on the Underground Safety Board's radar and keep your information updated. Now, excavators, that was the 5 steps to a safer excavation, but that doesn't stop your responsibilities. You have more. You need to manage your tickets. DigAlert tickets are valid for 28 calendar days from the day that you submit that ticket. If your digging continues beyond that 28 calendar days, you are required to renew that DigAlert on or before that 28 calendar days. You can do this through our DigAlert app, DigAlert Direct. We can actually help you manage those DigAlert tickets that are going to be expiring on a certain date, and give you push buttons and so forth to remind you to update your renew your DigAlert tickets. Now, this is not new, but the language is being more clarified. If a ticket obtained by you, the excavator, it expires, but you're not done digging, you have to stop your excavation. It now says in the government code 4216 that you have to immediately stop your excavation, contact DigAlert, and we'll issue a new DigAlert ticket, And then basically you have to start all over again, provide the legal minimum, at least the legal minimum notification of 2 full working days, not including the date of notification, and wait for those utilities, all of the utilities on your DigAlert ticket to respond. Remember, respond by either advising you of information as to the underground substructures, field marking, or advise of no conflict. More ticket management. If the field marks are no longer reasonably visible, excavators, you have to request request remarks. Make sure your excavation is redelineated, because it can be safely assumed that if the operator's marks are no longer reasonably visible, your delineated area is no longer reasonably visible. And yes, you have to stop your excavation and wait 2 full working days, not including the date of notification, for those operators to respond and remark their facilities. And remark is when they mark their facilities and the rain is happening and it gets washed away, where you no longer can reasonably, they're visible to you as an excavator. That is a remark. So make sure that you only request for remarks when the marks were there and no longer because of, for whatever reason. Now, if you need something from our operators to respond back to the job site for any other reason other than a damage, exposed, no response, or remark, you have to request it through what we call a return trip ticket. An example is, remember when I said you cannot begin your excavation unless the EPR says something other field mark, area marked, no conflict, or provided information? If any time it says resend ticket, you have to respond to that response. So if it's a response that says, you know what, we don't have no access to the job site because you forgot to provide the gate code or access code or whatever reason, or say it says resend ticket, no delineated area or no delineation, you have to respond, okay, because you thought you were gonna submit a ticket and then run out to that job site before the operator can get there and then delineate, and they beat you to it, and it says resend ticket, no delineation. You have to respond to that response through a return trip ticket and say, okay, yes, or here's the gate code, sorry, or yes, now the location is truly delineated, but this does restart your clock. And the operators have 2 full working days, not including the date of that notification, to respond to your response. So at this time, and actually I messed up again this morning. I'm sure Ann has a lot more questions for you now, because I was supposed to stop after introducing our sponsors, and I apologize, Ann. So at this time, Ann's probably going to ask you some questions before you ask questions. And it might be a lot because I messed up. But in the meantime, text 344-258, the word safe, space, win, space, first name, space, and last name to be eligible for the Home Depot e-gift cards. So sorry, Ann. You should have interrupted me.
No problem, Amber. Thank you. Actually, I don't have too many questions just yet, but we'll start with the first one. Get everybody kind of going this morning. Our first question is this your first underground safety awareness event? Simple enough, yes or no? Is this your first underground safety awareness event? All right, and a little over 50% say you've been to an underground safety awareness event before. That's fine. We like to know if we're preaching to the choir or getting new people, because there were some major changes in the government code that started in January. Even if you know all this stuff, there have been a few changes, as Amber has been pointing out. So it's always good to have a refresher. So since so many, well, almost half of you have said that you've been to one of these before, I expect this next question to be answered affirmatively. Do you have or have you used the DigAlert app? No, yes, or I didn't know DigAlert has an app. Considering Amber has been talking about the app so far in different ways that will help you with the 5 steps, about you can use the app to check your electronic positive response. You can use the app to renew tickets. You can use the app to create tickets. A few other things on the app is that you can get copies of the California Government Code. She's noted that we've rephrased some things instead of quoting completely directly from 4216. You can review it on the app. The app is free. All right. Well, 50% of you have said yes. The 35% who said, I didn't know DigAlert has an app, you haven't been listening. And for those of you who said no, we definitely have one. You can get it in Google or Apple. Speaking of the California Government Code, the our website, digalert.org, there's a tab on the far right-hand side that says resources. And you can go to advertising items and you can order other items just beside the California Government Code and the regulations that the Underground Safety Board has produced. But you can also order the Excavator's Handbook in English on one side, Spanish on the other.
About that, whatever it is.
People
get upset about that because there's nothing more fair than that.
There are other items. There are brochures. There are color code cards. There are lanyards. There are koozies. And our newest item this year is potato chip clips. So please spend some time on our website, look under resources. However, I will put a caveat, because costs have gone up, depending on how much you order, there may be a flat charge to ship that to you, but that will be determined once you're finished putting in your information. All right, Amber, I hope you've had a chance to drink some of your coffee, because those are all of the questions I have now. We don't seem to have gotten any questions from anybody. Let me look at the chat. Nope. So back to you, Amber.
Okay, see, even I learned something. I didn't know that we could charge for sending out a lot of advertisement items. So everyone learns something every day. So remember when I said, except in an emergency, every operator must contact a DigAlert? Well, now we're going to go through what is an emergency. An emergency is defined as a sudden, unexpected occurrence involving a clear and imminent danger demanding immediate action to prevent or mitigate loss of or damage to life, health, property, or essential public services. So what this means, excavators, if you have a true emergency as per this definition, you actually do not have to submit a DigAlert ticket. However, if at all possible, I encourage you to do so. Remember, our website platform, DigAlert Direct, allows you to submit a DigAlert ticket 24/7 every single day of the year. And as a standard or professional user, you would be able to submit an emergency ticket. However, you cannot submit an emergency ticket with a start date and time of more than 24 hours. And also, if you submit an emergency ticket and the operators respond to your excavation and they deem that it's not a true emergency as per the definition of 4216 F1, then they can actually charge you, the excavator, for their response. This charge would come, or fee would come, from the operator, not DigAlert. DigAlert is free for all operators. It would come directly from that operator. However, if you cannot submit an emergency DigAlert ticket, again, go to our free app. Our free app has emergency contact information if available, and then at least you can contact or reach out to them directly. Now, again, I'm not going verbatim of everything that the government code says. So if you need to get clarification or if you want to read verbatim, go to 4216.4C. But there is some new language. A damage, this is not new. A damage is defined as, yes, a break, a leak, but it is also a nick, a dent, a gouge, a groove, or any other damage to the underground line. And if an excavator discovers or causes a damage to a high priority line, or remember the ones that we discussed that you can't use, 60 PSI gas lines or greater and so forth, petroleum pipelines, high pressure sewer, electrical lines with a potential to ground of greater than 60 KFC. So KFC, that's chicken. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I need more coffee in. If there is there is an escape of product from the gas or hazardous liquid line, the excavator must call 911. This is specifically stated in 4216. So if you discover or cause a damage to a high priority line, or if there's an escape of a product, you must contact 911. Unless you are the excavator is the operator of the underground line. So like SoCal Gas, if they're digging to repair or maybe depth check on their underground substructure and they discover or cause a damage, they don't have to call 911 because they're the operator of that underground substructure. But any other person discovering or cause it, and it's a high priority line or an escape, you must immediately contact 911. And then after notifying 911, you need to immediately notify the operator of that underground substructure. And then you will need to submit a damage ticket through the DigAlert system, but you have 48 hours to submit that damage ticket. So that's not notifying DigAlert of the damage is not as immediately, but contacting 911 and notifying that operator is immediately. We've talked about the enforcement agency. It's the California Government Code. Specific to the California Government Code is the Underground Safety Board. They are under the Energy Safety Department of the state of California. There you can utilize or go to their website at energysafety.ca.gov. You can email them to the DigAlert board at energysafety.ca.gov. And what they are doing is they are coordinating education and outreach activities. They are developing standards specific to the state of California, aka the clay spade. They are investigating possible violations of 4216. and they are actually enforcing 4216. Excavator operators, DigAlert is the regional notification center. We're not the enforcement agency. We have no authority to tell an excavator, you can dig or you cannot dig. We cannot say, oh, your location is not delineated, so we cannot take a ticket. We will not do that. We cannot do that. We are not the enforcement agency. Excavators, if you get upset because an operator is continuously no response, and it's delaying your excavation, you can call me, I'll listen, but there's nothing I can do. But if you want to file a complaint or a violation or advise of a damage, that you would have to do that through the Underground Safety Board. And we actually, if you go to our website at digalert.org, here is a button, you can click on that and it will take you to energysafety.ca.gov where you can file that complaint or advise of the damage. They are the true enforcement agency, always specific to 4216 though. And those consequences, if an operator or excavator negligently violates 4216, you can be fined up to $10,000. Now, if you owner operator or operator and excavator or excavator, if you knowingly and willfully violate 4216, you can be fined up to $50,000. And again, knowingly and willfully violate 4216, and it does result in the escape of any flammable, toxic, or corrosive gas or liquid where you have to call 911, you can actually be fined up to $100,000. And this is just specific to the 4216 law. You do have other enforcement agencies. You have the Attorney General, District Attorney, the permitting agency. Permitting agency can revoke your permit and they can say, you know what, you're an unsafe excavator, you're not digging in my area, and they can deny future permits. Then you have the Contractor State License Board, the Public Utilities Commission, and also the State Fire Marshal. Those are other enforcement agencies that can issue fines, revoke licenses, and so forth. Or as Ann likes to say, what or whatnot. Now, it looks like I have a hand in chat, but this will be your final opportunity to ask your questions. So please ask your questions. Again, raise your hand, utilize chat or the Q&A, and this will be your final opportunity to text to 344-258, the word safe, space, win, first name, space, last name. So with that, I'm going to pass it off once again to Ann, who is I forgot to introduce her title. She is the president of DigAlert. Ann?
Thank you, Amber. All right. One of the question that we have in is, what is the excavator's legal requirement when an operator responds with a 031 code? What they're asking is, what that code is that the operator is requesting a standby and for the excavator to contact the operator to set that up. When electronic positive response was first introduced into the law starting January of 2018, it was done voluntarily. Also, it was set up with the expectation of a communication. Once again, DigAlert is a communications link between excavators and the operators, the owners of the underground lines. So that code was put in there for those times when an operator is saying, not that there's a high priority line, but I want to be standing by when you're digging. So what that is telling the excavator is to contact that operator and set up something for them to be there. they want to know exactly when it is that you're going to start excavating so they can provide this information. The other question is, can we have this presentation emailed to us? Yes, we've shrunk it down and we can email you the PowerPoint. Send your request to Amber, AMBER, at DigAlert, DIGALERT.org, and she will get that out to you. I will even put that into the chat. So everyone has her email. Also remember, if you are in a group setting, please send to her the list of names of everybody that's in that group setting so that we can get you your both name and email. Names and email, so we can get you your safety certificates and the Starbucks e-gift cards. All right, any other questions before I ask the rest of my questions? And then after that, we will, quote unquote, pull names out of a hat. So is the excavator required to contact the operator if there is a 031? Yes. That is the best thing to do because you want, to me, what 031 means is that the operator feels that where you are planning on digging, there is sensitive lines there, and they want to make sure that they are standing by to make sure that there isn't a damage, because having a damage is not a good thing. If an operator sends back the ticket with the EPR code for no delineation, what is the correct way to get them to go back out and provide marks? You do a return trip ticket and you tell them that the area is now delineated. What we found that was happening was that sometimes excavators were going out 5 minutes before their legal start date and time, or checking their electronic positive response 5 minutes before the legal start date and time, and seeing that there was a response of no delineation, and then sending back the ticket and saying it's delineated now, expecting the operator to respond within that 5 minutes, and that's just not possible. So that's why a return trip was created, because the law says you have to delineate, but DigAlert will not refuse a ticket if it's not delineated, because and since operators may choose not to mark if it's not delineated, and don't ask me which ones will or which ones won't, because it depends on if it's sometimes it depends on if it's a simple address, then they can pretty much figure it out. But sometimes there's confusion and they may not know exactly where it is that you're excavating. And they don't want to mark the wrong spot and then have a damage happen. All right. Question time. This is in no particular order. First question, who must provide valid current contact information? Operators, excavators, or both? Who must provide valid current contact information? Operators, excavators, or both? All right, would like to see about 20 of you answering. All right. It's true, an operator has to, an excavator has to, but both have to. Correct answer on this is both. 90% of you said that. How can you check EPR responses on your ticket? Electronic positive response is what EPR stands for. On the DigAlert app, by texting PRESP and the ticket number to 344258, also DIGALT, providing a cell number and or an email for a copy of the ticket to be sent to you on the DigAlert website, or all of the above. All right, 95% of you are correct. All of the above. We make it so easy for you to check the electronic positive response on your ticket. As Amber said, don't roll a truck until you've checked that. Next question. How far in advance of your job can you get a ticket? 28 days, 1 day, 14 calendar days. How far in advance of your job can you get a ticket? 28 days, 1 day, 14 calendar days. All right. Remember, the answer is 14 calendar days. 28 days, that is how long a ticket is valid. If your work is continuing beyond those 28 days, you need to renew your ticket so the ticket is still valid. One day, while we will take it, the operators still have 2 working days, not counting the date of notification to respond. All right. I can get a ticket anytime, 24/7, 365 from direct.digalert.org, calling 811, or contacting the utility directly. I can get a ticket anytime, 24/7, 365 from direct.digalert.org, calling 811, or contacting the utility directly. All right, direct.digalert.org is where you can get a ticket 24/7. If you're a standard user or a professional user, we also have a guest user, but you can't do emergencies there. We need to have an actual account so that if something happens, we can get a hold of you. Just like when you do your e-shopping, you can check out as a guest, but you can't always track everything and whatnot. If you call 811, DigAlert is only open Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's when our customer service reps are available. And thank you for not saying contacting the utility directly, because if you do that and you mention the word digging, especially the bigger ones, they will tell you to call 811. Next question, only a few more. Does an operator have to mark their lines if there is no delineation? Yes or no? Does the operator have to mark their lines if there's no delineation? Yes or no? All right. You are correct. No. An operator may choose not to field mark their lines if the area of excavation is not delineated. They want to make sure that they are marking their lines in the area where you're going to be digging. Who does not have to be a member of DigAlert? Caltrans and non-pressurized lines, communication companies, gas and electric companies, oil companies, or water agencies. I happen to know that we have a very large water agency attending today. Who does not have to be a member of DigAlert? Caltrans, non-pressurized lines, communication companies, your phone companies, your cable TV companies, your gas and electric companies, your oil companies, or your water agencies. Majority of 94% of you are correct. It's Caltrans and non-pressurized sewer lines, storm drains, and other non-pressurized drain lines. Fun fact, DigAlert has more water agencies as members than any other type. That 900 members that over 900 members that Amber talked about, our largest contingency is water agencies. All right. DigAlert automatically sends a no response ticket to those operators who have not provided an EPR, electronic positive response, by the legal start date and time. Is that true or false? DigAlert automatically sends a no response ticket to those operators who have not provided an EPR by the legal start date and time. True or false? All right. That is true as of January 1, 2025. If a member, an operator of a subsurface installation, has not provided an electronic positive response by the legal start date and time, we automatically send out a no response to that operator, and just to that operator. And we continue to do so until the ticket is no longer valid. Also, if you get a no response for those operators who are on the webinar today, you need to respond to those. Let's see. All right, an excavator may use vacuum excavation devices to hand expose lines in conflict unless the operator does not agree and includes that information on their electronic positive response. True or false? An excavator may use excavation devices to hand expose lines in conflict unless the operator does not agree and includes that information on their EPR. That is correct. That is new in the law this year. That if an operator has an issue with the use of vacuum excavation devices, they need to send that information back on their electronic positive response. All right. I forgot that this was a new one. An excavator can begin work after operators have marked their lines, operators have provided information where their lines are, operators have communicated they have no conflict, there's a mutual agreement before the legal start date and time, a mutual agreement between the excavator and the operator. An example would be they're going to stay ahead of the work that you're doing. Operators have fulfilled their obligations under 4216.3A1A. All right. Not that this was a trick question, but if you would have answered any of these, you would be correct. Because if all of the operators have communicated they have no conflict, that's part of it. All of these are under the operators have fulfilled their obligations under 4216.3A1A. And our final question. I've damaged, whoops. Watch. I've damaged a gas line and there is gas escaping. What do? I call 911. I contact the operator. I notify DigAlert within 48 hours. I patch it myself. I've damaged a gas line and there is gas blowing up. What do? I'm going to have to change that because I can't say the word escaping. I call 911. I contact the operator. I notify DigAlert within 48 hours. I patch it myself. This one you can choose more than one answer. All right, it's good to know no one would try and patch it themselves. The correct answer is all three. You call 911, then you contact the operator, then you notify DigAlert within 48 hours. That's what the law says. If you've damaged the line, a hazardous materials line, a high priority line, if you've damaged let me start over. If you've damaged a gas line or other hazardous material and product is coming out, you contact 911. Then, after you've contacted 911, you contact the operator. After the operator, within 48 hours, you need to contact DigAlert. We would prefer that you contact us before that, but you definitely don't patch it yourself. All right. Thank you all for answering all of those questions. I will turn it back over to Amber while I pull names out of a hat.
Okay, perfect timing, because good question on that EPR code 31. I don't know all the EPR codes. I'm not an operator. I don't have to post. However, I didn't want to mess with my screen share and cause problems, because that has happened. So what did I do? I went to our DigAlert app. I'm gonna say, I can't show you. I'm trying to show it on my camera, on my thing. I went to our DigAlert app. And on the bottom, before it tells us if we're open or closed and how many calls are holding, it says DigAlert Docs. And so what I did is I clicked on DigAlert Docs. And there's on the thing, if you look at it, it says, what can we help you with? And I typed in EPR codes. And it gave me a list of all the EPR codes for excavators and our owner operators, what they can post and so forth. Also, you can scroll and it has policies and procedures, a section for excavators and DIYers, where you can ask questions or just review certain information. So, and then we also have, you just keep scrolling, and for a specific button for our utility owner operators. See, this is why I'm getting confused, because it says utility members, which is what our operations side calls our, and then we're supposed to follow the verbiage on the government code, which is operators. So utility members and operators are the same thing. So just another plugin. You know, if you have questions and you're on the job site and you don't have a computer on your truck or on your lap, utilize our DigAlert our DigAlert app. And with that, I did see we had another question. Under 42, and I'm going to let you, under 4216 operator requirements, does responding to EPR satisfy the communication requirement?
As far as not, if you respond to if you respond to a ticket with any of the electronic positive response codes, you will not end up getting a member did not respond by the legal start date and time. However, those responses do not mean for the excavator that that don't necessarily mean for the excavator that they can begin digging. An example would be the code 31 that we talked about, which was that the operator wants the excavator to contact them to set up a standby.
So it does satisfy the communication requirement if operators have to respond, and they have to respond either field mark located in field mark, advised of no conflict, or provided information. Those are the only three that under EPR allows an excavator to begin their excavation, either before their start date and time, as long as all those utilities on their ticket have responded with one of those three. If there's any other type of response on EPR, like Ann said, and let's see, I can do EPR codes, and I'll get all of them. If there is a, let's see, a code 014, which is partially marked, the operator needs more time. So the operator and excavator needs to communicate and contact each other. Okay, where was it marked? They're going to dig where it's marked, but they're not going to dig where it's not marked. Or the operator, no access, no delineation. The excavator has to respond to that saying, okay, now it's delineated, or here's the access code. That doesn't give them the ability to start their excavation. Again, 31, they need requires a standby. That tells the excavator that you need a standby before you can start their excavation. So it's a yes or no. It's not a just yes, that satisfies the communication. You have to finish that communication unless, again, it's advise of provided information, field mark, or no conflict. If there's anything else, we have to finish that communication. Does that make sense? Colin? Well, he's not responding, so I'm thinking maybe. All right, thank you. Great question, though. Great questions. All right, Ann, are you ready?
I'm ready. I've pulled names out of a hat.
Woohoo. All right, let's go. Oh, wait. Will we be able to receive this? Yes. Email me at amber@digalert.org, and I will send you this presentation.
All right. For our $25 Home Depot gift card, Nathan and Dell. And I apologize if I butcher your names. For our $50 Home Depot gift card, Colin Bell.
Woohoo! That's for all your great questions, Colin.
For our $75 e-gift card, Home Depot e-gift card, Patricia Farmer.
Woohoo!
And our final $100 e-gift card goes to Theodore Toth.
Woohoo!
All right, if any of the names that I've just called did not provide their, they are in a group setting and we don't have your email address, and obviously we have your names, but if we don't have your email address because you were in a group setting, please send that to Amber so that we can get you these e-gift cards. The e-gift cards will not be sent out until tomorrow.
Because we're allowing to the end of the day for you to get me those email addresses and with the first and last name.
Go ahead, Amber.
I'm just looking in chat. Jonathan Morales says you can, Nathan said that you can give it to Jonathan Morales. That needs to come from Nathan. Nice try, Jonathan. All right, everyone. Remember, DigAlert is a communication links, but we need each excavator, each operator, each locator. We need, it actually is stated in the California Government Code 4216.4. We need to and we shall communicate with each other, respect each other, respect those markings so that we can have a safer excavation. Thank you for your time, and I hope everyone has a great day. Stay dry.